All right, welcome, Patriots. We are so excited today. I have Jake Shannon in studio with me today, and today we have former Governor Jesse Ventura on the phone. Governor, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here today. How are you guys doing?
We are fantastic.
Super duper. Excited to have you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Now, you have some exciting things going on. You have stayed so active since you were the governor of Minnesota. And you have a new book that is coming out.
Yeah, and I think it'll probably be controversial.
Yeah, I think it probably will. 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read. Government can't be very happy with it.
Well, first of all, let me say that we didn't, none of these are illegal. It's not like they can arrest me like they're trying to do to WikiLeaks and all that stuff. All these documents are out there. It's just that mainstream media won't look at them, and mainstream media won't go find them. Anybody can find these documents that are in the book if they want to. And in fact, in the epilogue, Dick Russell and I list many of the places you can go on the internet to find all these documents, and they're all put out by our United States government.
That's Jesse. This is Jake. That's what I really love about this book, because for those of us that are concerned with exactly the issues that you raise in this book, this 63 documents the government doesn't want you to read, it's been difficult for us independent researchers to actually find these unless, you know how to do a FOIA request, but who knows how to do that? So I love this, man. It's a big book with a bunch of dirty secrets in there.
Well, and the good thing is, it's not just my opinion. I write in the front of every document how I feel about it and explain it, but then we actually reproduce every document in the book so that the reader has the ability to read the document themselves.
Yeah, and Governor, just so you know, this station where we broadcast from is the third oldest talk station in the nation. And things that we talked about on this station, not me, I wasn't here then, but 20 years ago that people listed as conspiracy theories have all proven out to be fact. And it's amazing. People like to label, people, and media likes to avoid these documents and these stories that you bring out in this book and that you love to discuss. But then once it's proven fact, they just seem to forget about it.
Well, let's remember something, too. When the government tells you something, 9 times out of 10, it's just a theory from them also.
Yeah, almost like
let me give you the greatest example, 9/11. Okay, they told us who did it, right? What proof have they ever offered that what they told us was true?
You're right, it's all theory.
My point is this. We have a system of law in this country, correct?
Well, we're supposed to.
We're supposed to. Okay, this was mass murder in New York, 9/11. Why has it been almost 10 years and Osama bin Laden has never been indicted?
That's a good point, because they have trials all the time where the defendant is not present.
Well, first of all, how can you go get the defendant if he's not been indicted?
Well, that's true. You can't even seek to capture him.
Exactly. We need to indict him and then go get him. They're doing it backwards. They want to go kill him first, and they don't even bother with an indictment. And the reason being, okay, what do they have to do? They have to convene a grand jury of citizens. The government comes forward and shows evidence. The citizens look at that evidence, and they say, there's enough evidence here that there should be a trial, but yet that person is still innocent until proven guilty. Well, we've convicted Osama bin Laden. We've never even indicted him. There's not one shred of evidence the government has actually proven and shown. They've only told you that he did it.
You're absolutely right. I'm curious from your perspectives. You've got such a great perspective because, one, you have the military background. You were a Navy SEAL. 2, you were the governor of a state.
Also a mayor.
And a mayor. And then on top of that, you also know media. Like you're a well-known media personality. So you understand the game at a bunch of different levels. So it's one thing to do the whistleblowing, which I think are the real heroes in our culture these days, are the true whistleblowers anymore.
Yep.
But how is it that we go from where we are now to actually having getting our country back? Is it doing this? Is it kind of just doing a little rabble rousing?
No,
or, I mean, what can we do strategically?
I can tell you all it takes. It's as simple as the nose on your face. You can't see it. You can't see the forest for the trees. You want to know what it is?
I do.
The next election, if everybody in the United States, or let me just say not everybody, even just the majority, if the majority of people in the United States would not vote for a Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, hear.
Well, yeah, we've tied it too closely to two parties who are so corrupt by business interest and by big corporate dollars that there is no true sense of service for the country in our White House or in Washington or District of Columbia anymore.
Exactly. They're sold out. You know when I live in Mexico, you know what I refer to the United States as now?
What's that?
The fascist states of America.
You know what it's said?
Wait, everyone's screaming we're going socialist. No, we're not. We're fascist. Now, what is the basic definition of fascism? It's when corporations team up with religion and control the government.
Yeah, absolutely. Mussolini, who's like the fascism poster boy, his book was called Corporativo.
Exactly. And that's what you got. See, these corporations, they don't care who becomes the president. They've already bought both sides. Look at Barack Obama. Who is his major contributor?
Well, I know Goldman Sachs gave him almost $1 million.
There you go. That was his single most biggest contributor was Goldman Sachs.
I know,
and here's another example why it don't matter. In the last, I don't know how many, 25, 30 years, when we've gone Republican and Democratic presidents, guess what? The Secretary of the Treasury for both sides always comes out of Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, that's right. There's a revolving door, that's for sure.
Exactly. So people in this country better wake up and they can do it. Stop voting for Democrats and Republicans. Vote for anyone else. And the other thing we should do, we should stop putting parties on the ballots. Put just names.
Yes, I agree with that.
That would be a great maneuver.
Because that way the voter has to educate themselves. What does John Smith stand for? Now you can go in there, and if you're conservative, you don't even need to see the name. It's convenient. Republican, 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 Republican. Or if you're liberal, Democrat, 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 Democrat. Pull off. Just put their names down with no party designation.
And then that way you'd actually have to do homework and see what they really stand for instead of just a brand name.
Exactly.
Well, and and we try and educate people all the time. It was amazing. I listed all the politicians who voted on the bailout money and how much money they took from the top 5 banks, J.P. Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, AIG. I mean, they were bought and paid for, but it was a great return. I mean, as a business guy, I have to say, those banks know how to do business because they buy both sides equally.
Yeah, you need to remember it's the banks that run this country because the Federal Reserve is them. And always remember, he who has the money has the power. Our money don't belong to the United States of America. You look on it, it's from the Federal Reserve, which is this group of bankers. And also notice this, 2 presidents in our lifetime, there may be more, but I know 2 for sure, who's off the Federal Reserve and all that. They were Abraham Lincoln and John Kennedy, and what happened to both of them?
Yeah, it's interesting. When you look at any president that was a gold bug, they were all the presidents that had either assassinations or assassination attempts, from Harding to Reagan to Kennedy to Lincoln.
Yep.
Let me ask you something. I'm curious about your perspective on this, Governor. The recent, I'm a huge fan of your television show. I mean, it really is amazing. I wish you'd call it Conspiracy Evidence instead of Conspiracy Theory, because that really seems what it's about. The Japanese, this tsunami, I mean, it's ironic because I saw something that some Japanese corporation was coming out with a car that runs on water, and then a week later, the entire country is just demolished. You did this show on HAARP. Have you seen any kind of connection between HAARP and what's not just happened in Haiti, but now in Japan?
Well, more than those 2. Do you remember the tsunami that hit Indonesia a couple years ago?
I do.
Okay, that's the key one. Because these other ones were accompanied by earthquakes. The tsunami that hit Indonesia, there was no earthquake, there was nothing. It came from nowhere, but here's the key. Witnesses said right before the tsunami hit, they saw the northern lights. Well, guess what? From Indonesia, you can't see the northern lights.
Which leads you to believe that it had something to do with the electronic array thing.
Well, when HAARP is fully activated, guess what you see? The northern lights, or what looks to be the northern lights. Now, on my show, my one guy on the show said, well, come on, Governor, you can't think that they would kill all these people for nothing. And I said, no, I'm not saying that. But I said, what if they were just testing it? And this happened. What do you think? They're going to come out and say, oops, we screwed up?
Yeah, they take blame for something they do as a government. That's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if they were just testing the thing and the testing results was they created this tsunami that crashed into Indonesia and killed all these people, you think they're going to come out and admit it?
Well, the funny thing is about the whole HAARP thing is it is, you know, obviously our government has technology that we don't know about as a people. You know, that's part of the whole thing with being clandestine and having, you know, intelligence agencies and whatnot. But the thing that's interesting is I find the whole HAARP thing to be so polarizing because people are always like, that's totally crazy. You got to have your tinfoil hat. But I always just point them, and this goes directly to a military website, is that one speech by the Secretary of Defense, William Cohen, back in '97 that said he admitted that there are weapons, these eco-weapons that can set off volcanoes and tsunamis and earthquakes, and that's William Cohen. He is not a tinfoil hat crowd.
Well, there you go. I can't add nothing to that. You know, judge for yourself. And well, here's the loophole how they get away with it. There's a treaty that you're not supposed to create anything to control the weather internationally. Here's the loophole. Nothing says you can't do it domestically.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, see, that's the loophole. There's all these countries signed a treaty that they wouldn't do anything internationally, but it left the door wide open to do it domestically.
Which then, of course, makes me think about Katrina and the other things that we've had happen here.
Yeah.
You know, Governor, you're going to be going on a tour to sign copies of your book. The first
I'm already on it.
What was that?
I said I'm already on it.
Oh, well, you're already on it. But so, Penn Station in New York City. You got Redwood, New Jersey. I don't see Utah. You know, you have some probably the biggest fans here in Utah.
Well, unfortunately, see, I can't because are you aware that I've brought a federal lawsuit against the United States government?
Oh, because of the TSA.
Yeah, see, I brought a lawsuit January 28th. I was down in Mexico, but my lawyer's in Minnesota. I'm suing the United States government, the Department of Homeland Security, and the TSA, and that's why I cannot fly commercially right now.
Oh, wow.
Until this lawsuit gets settled one way or the other, because I'm asking them to cease and desist from putting me through all the stuff to see if you're a terrorist. See, I have metal in my body. So when I pass through the metal detector, I could go through it naked, and it's going to go off. Well, then now I'm subjected to this X-ray machine or to this pat-down that the guy from San Diego is completely correct. It is a sexual assault. I had it done to me once, and at that point, I brought the lawsuit.
Well, we in Utah hate the TSA even more now because they're keeping you from coming out to visit us. That's awful.
See, I had to fly from Mexico. I can't complain, but I had to fly from the Baja to New York in a